channel. If you happen to be new here, my name is Jess. Today is going to be my wrap up for Crooked Kingdom and whether or not I thought it was hype or not. I'm going to go ahead and put a little disclaimer here, and I'm probably going to be putting this on every single one of the videos that I film like this, but we are all very, very different people. The reason why I may love a book, you may not agree with. The reason why I may dislike a book, you may not agree with. And that is honestly the beauty of reading, because we all get different things out of books, and I don't want to offend anybody by filming this video because I actually DNF'd Crooked Kingdom. I got, let's see, 171 pages into the book. I do know how it ends because I have spoken to people. I was talking to a friend and I told her that I was looking to DNF it because I wasn't really enjoying it, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. So I do know how it ends. If you have not read this book, please turn away because there are going to be spoilers in this. There's no way that I can speak about why I don't like this book, but I want to go ahead and just let you guys know that I did end up DNFing Crooked Kingdom. I did not enjoy it. I enjoyed the writing in the book, however some of the characters were a little deplorable to me to the point where I couldn't even continue. But yeah, let's go ahead and just get into what I liked about the book and then the reason why I ended up DNFing it, because this video is going to be all over the place. It's going to be confusing as fuck. I'm really sorry, but I just have to be honest with this book. I could not continue reading it, and I'm going to go into why I DNF'd Crooked Kingdom. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk about the things that I actually really enjoyed about this. I love Leigh Bardugo as a writer. I think that she is incredibly descriptive. I think that she is amazing at world building, at character building. Now, reading this book and reading Six of Crows as well, it was very easy for me to enjoy the world because the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo is probably one of my favorite book series of all time, and one of my favorite trilogies. So the world that it takes place in, Ravka, I am already a fan of, so she definitely had that under her belt. It was easy to fall back into that. We are introduced to Ketterdam and the Barrel, which I also really enjoyed, even though it is clearly deplorable. The people that live there, the things that happen there, it is not a good city. However, I still really enjoyed that, so she definitely gets points for that. She's also, like I said before, incredibly descriptive with the way that she writes. I absolutely love her writing style. I think that it is beautiful. She's a wonderful, wonderful author. Now, if you're looking to read a book based on that, based on good writing, based on, you know, a great world building, you will love this book. Now, it's going to get kind of confusing as to why I DNF'd it the further along we get, but I also wanted to speak about the characters. One of the things that I had issues with this book is the age of the characters. Now, I know it is a young adult book. I know going into it I should assume that they are young adults, but I found it really hard to believe that our characters were able to do what they were able to do at such a young age. Now, if you follow me on my blog, I posted about this last night, but they are around 18, you know, under 20 years old, every single one of them, and it was really hard to believe that they were able to do the things they were able to do at such a young age. Now, most of them did not grow up in the Barrel, so they didn't learn these habits and these traits till later on in life, and honestly, at 18, I could not decide whether or not I wanted to enroll in college. I couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to go to work or I wanted to stay home and read all the time. So it was really, really hard to kind of grasp that. Now, if they were a little bit older, if they were like in their 30s, it would be a slightly more believable. I think that this book may have done better for me in that sense if it was an adult book. Obviously, Leigh Bardugo writes young adult books, so I can't expect that from her, but that was one of the things. However, the characters I loved. My three favorites are Nina, Matthias, and Inej. I thought that their stories were a little bit more believable. Nina is a former Grisha soldier who is being hunted for her power, and I thought, you know, it made sense that she was able to do the things that she was able to do considering she has military training. Matthias is raised in the culture that he is raised in, so the way that he is very believable. They're raised very, very young to be the way that they are. And then obviously Inej is from a family that does, I don't know if they're like a circus family or what, but the traits and abilities that she has, it makes sense that she would also have those. Now, the problems that I had were with Jesper and with Kaz. Now, I like Jesper. I love Jesper and Wylan as characters, as a couple. I thought that was really great that she wrote that in here without putting too much emphasis on it. She made it seem very, very natural. I have kind of seen this in other reviews as well. Once I finally decided to DNF the book, I did watch a few reviews last night, so I do definitely agree with people that it was very, very natural and not forced, and I really like that. She is great when it comes to representation for characters in this book. Wylan and Jesper's relationship is wonderful. I do know how that ends as well. Like I said, I did not finish the book, but I know how the book ends. It was hard to believe that Jesper was so good with a gun, so wanting a fight in the short years that he lived in the Barrel. That is not something that you just kind of pick up in a couple of years, so that was very hard for me to understand. And then Kaz being a lockpick, a mastermind, what he is, just coming from a simple farm boy, I could not see that either. So that was the one thing that really got to me about this book. I love the world, I love most of the characters, I love the storyline of this book, but for me it was just really hard to connect with most of them. I'll get to my overall thoughts of the book later, but I wanted to get into why I actually DNF'd this book. Now, this part's going to get a little bit confusing because the reason why I DNF this book is actually Kaz Brekker. I know a lot of people love him, they absolutely love him, but my life circumstances, the things that I have been through in my life made it completely impossible for me to finish reading this book. Kaz is not necessarily a sexual deviant, he is not necessarily physically abusive, however, I do see a lot of abusive traits in him. He makes comments like, I wish people were as easy to train as dogs, and he wasn't saying that as like, he just said that in casual conversation, and I thought that was very hostile. He does use Nina at certain points to, like in a provocative way, like very sexually, to get what he wants. He tends to, throughout the entire book, do those types of things. Now, we know that Kaz is like that from the very, very beginning of the first book of Six of Crows, so it does not come as a surprise to me. However, the further along in the book that I got, it was just impossible for me to continue reading it. I am a victim of abuse in my past, both physical and otherwise, and I just could not continue reading it because Kaz reminded me so much of that time in my life. So the reason why I personally DNF this book is not going to be the reason why most people DNF this book, but if you are a victim of any of those things, I think that it will be, well, at least for me, hard to continue to read a character like that, especially one that is so beloved by everybody. I don't see it, honestly. But like I said, that is just a personal opinion of mine, and that is why I ended up actually DNFing this book. Now, a couple of spoilers here. Matthias does pass away in the end of the book. I am aware that that happens, and once I found out that that happened, it's part of the reason why I ended up DNFing the book, because Matthias is my favorite character. I think that he had the best storyline, he had the best growth and development as a character, and once I figured out that that happened, I was just kind of like, okay, well, I don't really want to go through that, honestly. I'm not enjoying the book particularly anyway. I'm not getting much out of it that I wanted. So for me, for Matthias passing away, I was just like, alright, I'm done. Now, in my mind, what I actually wanted from this series was for Kaz to actually die. I wanted him to die in a way that is like self-sacrificing, to kind of make up for some of the shit that he did throughout the entire book. He uses his friends the entire time, he does what he wants to get what he wants, he tramples all over everybody that he can, he puts people in very compromising situations, and I kind of wanted him to take the bullet just so that I could be like, okay, well, at least he died for his friends. But so far, well, not so far, but I did not get anything out of Kaz that I wanted to get out of Kaz, and seeing as he is our main character, it's very hard for me to continue reading the series. Also, as well, at the end of the book, Kaz does reunite Inej with her parents, and while that is a grand gesture, to me that still doesn't make up for the things that he does. So like I said, I'm very well aware of how this book ends. I still did not think that it was worth my time, so I did end up DNFing it. But like I said, it is 100% personal opinion on why I did not actually end up finishing this book. Now, getting into whether or not I think this book is hype or not, even though I DNF'd this series, even though I did not enjoy it, did not think that it was worth it, I actually think the hype surrounding these books is worth it, because the world building is already there, the characters everybody knows and loves, it's very easy to connect with them. My issue with this series was simply Kaz Brekker. So if you do not have the kind of history, the kind of past that I have, I think that you will still really enjoy these. It is beautifully written. Like I said, the world is beautifully written, the characters are very lovable, they're very enjoyable. I love the back and forth banter between all of them. I love the storyline. I just personally could not get through Kaz. So I know this review is a little bit confusing because, hey Jess, you DNF'd the book, but you still think that it is worth reading for other people, and I have to say yes, I am just one person, and my views on this book were simply because of one character now, and I don't think that necessarily one character can ruin an entire series. And like I said, since we are all so different, I think a lot of people will still really enjoy this book. I think the writing is very beautiful, and I think it is worth giving it a shot if you are interested in something like this. But I do have to go ahead and say that if you're looking for anything cuddly and warm and like loving in a character or in a book, this is not the duology for you. It is not at all the type of book where you come in like warm fuzzy feelings. It is very much from the get-go just like everybody using everybody else, everybody getting what they want. And if you love books like that, if you love characters like that, every single character in this book is a little bit broken, I think you will absolutely love this book. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. That is what I thought of Crooked Kingdom. I know that my review is a little bit confusing, but honestly I need to be as open-minded as possible when coming into things like this, because I know that not everybody comes from the same background that I do. I know everybody does not have the same feelings that I have about certain books, about certain things. So when it comes to the basis of the book, like how it is as a book itself, I think that it is worth the read. I just did not like Kaz. I'm super sorry. So I hope you guys are having a good week, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!